Hello paddlers! Today I'm on Buffalo Lake. Buffalo Lake is a 13-mile-long lake on the Fox River, created by a dam in the mid-1800s, 1850 something. I thought I was going to launch from the public launch in Montello, but I pulled up and there was a big old fishing tournament going on there, and I felt like my kind was not welcome in that environment, and I'm okay with that. So I came here to Packwaukee instead. Look how cute this little community is. I've never seen launch fees that cheap, so big old fishing tournament just saved me $5 on launch fees. I've only paddled Buffalo Lake once, about 3 years ago. From what I remember, it's not very memorable as far as scenery goes, so I sure hope I see some wildlife, because scenery is not going to cut it for interesting here today. So if there's no wildlife, that's a lot of pressure on me to come up with something entertaining. So let's keep our fingers crossed for some cranes and some herons doing some cool bird stuff, and let's get on the water. I do remember there being massive amounts of duckweed on Buffalo Lake. Look at this green carpet. Kind of reminds me of my mom's living room in the 70s. There'll be a lot of small aircraft overhead in this video. Packwaukee isn't all that far from Oshkosh, and tomorrow starts the big national air show at the Oshkosh airport. So I know you must be thinking, Buffalo Lake, well, where's all the buffalo? Where's Kevin Costner? Buffalo Lake was actually named after the buffalo grass that grows in this area, which I'm assuming is this. Kevin Costner couldn't be with us today. I think he's in a fishing tournament in Montello. I wonder if they can see me. Bet they can see me better on the green carpet. Boy, the aircraft noise is constant. After being on the windy little Pine River yesterday, it sure feels good to be on bigger, more open water where I can really get a full extension of my arms and long strokes for a faster paddle. I have found the mouth of Chapman Creek. Let's see how far up here we can go. It's a little reminiscent of Horicon Marsh back here. Horicon Marsh definitely did not get this thick on top. I've seen some weird stuff in the water in my 15 years of paddling, but this might be in the top 10. It's a mini fridge. I'd say circa late 90s with a fake wood grain veneer on the front. I was hoping it was a safe from a distance. Oh, it's been there a minute too. Give most people the benefit of the doubt, and they assume that a lot of the garbage I find in the lakes and rivers I paddle was not intentional. But a fridge, really? I had to turn it over to make sure there was no, human remains in it. You never know. We're not that far from Milwaukee, early 90s. Holy bird's nest. Seems I've ruffled some feathers. Well, that's rude. should be able to paddle right under this, but bridge improvements going on. Went through the other side on my first pass. As weird as a fridge is, it's actually not my first sighting of a small household appliance. In probably about 2009, I found a full-size upright vacuum cleaner along the shores of the Wisconsin River. This was the season after Lake Delton flooded and the levee broke and it spilled into the Wisconsin River, and several entire households got washed away with that whole flood. So I'm going to go out on a limb and assume it was one of those households that was the owner of said vacuum. Paddling through about a half a mile of this, and it's totally doable. It's just a bit of a workout. You're going pretty slow through this stuff. Good to get into some open water here. Even though it's so common to see crane and heron in southern Wisconsin, it's still kind of a big deal for me. Even though I've lived in southern Wisconsin for most of my adult life, I grew up in suburban Chicago, and I'm not talking like a established suburb like Oak Park or Evanston. I'm talking like brand spanking new in 1970 suburbs with trees that weren't even big enough to support a squirrel or a bunny in our neighborhood. So growing up, I mean, bald eagles might as well have been unicorns. I just didn't have a very outdoorsy childhood. I mean, I was a typical kid in the 70s that played outside all day long, but like outdoorsy, that just wasn't really part of what we did. We didn't camp. I probably didn't ever swim in a thing that wasn't man-made until I was, I don't know, maybe 12 or 15. So I guess that maybe gives me a little bit different perspective than those who grew up around this and maybe took it for granted. I find it kind of funny that there's this assumption that because I like to be on the water, that I like to camp, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. If you listen really, really closely, all the little gas bubbles coming up from rotting vegetation sound like a bowl of Rice Krispies. Found another little tributary, Allen Creek. Hello, Allen. Let's see how far we can get with you. Allen is not exactly throwing out a welcome mat here. Yeah, I'm gonna skip it. Wonder if it's an osprey. find a lot of flotation devices. And I do try to pick garbage out of the lake as much as I can. I don't really necessarily want to paddle with this thing on my boat the rest of the day. So maybe I'll do half a good deed. I'm gonna let this random homeowner do the other half. Okay? Shh, don't tell anybody. Ah, shit, there's another PFD. I can't just leave these sitting in the marsh. Thanks, neighbor. Another attempt at that one, this time like I mean it. In case you're wondering, this rotten vegetation smells about as good as you guess it would. Maybe these guys won't mind. So that's 2 half good deeds for the day. That equals my 1 good deed for the day. It's also all over me inside of my boat on my phone. I see another interesting object in the water at 11 o'clock. What could it be? The chair was mounted to something at one point in time. That's not going anywhere. Looks like another little tributary. Mad River gives me a creepy vibe, but I'm going in anyway. Ugh, yuck. I'm falling in mud and weeds all over myself. Yeah, I think this would be fun in the spring. I think I have to turn around. Rudder comes up, and I'm going in reverse. Spring of 2024. I'll be back. There's next to no boat traffic here. I'm here on a Sunday. Launched maybe, I don't know, 2-3 o'clock. Been here for a few hours. What time is it? Oh dear. I guess my phone's dead. Shit. Has quieted to about 1 every 10 minutes or so, whereas it was pretty constant earlier. So it's really quiet on Buffalo Lake for a Sunday. I'm guessing it's about 7:30 since my phone died, and I really don't know. Glad I came out to Buffalo Lake. As I remember, this is nothing to look at here, but I'm appreciative for all this open water after that windy little river I was in yesterday, so I was really able to stretch my arms and get some good strokes in on the water. I think I got about 10 miles in today. Some nice, building up a really good callus. Yeah, I know paddling gloves exist. I just don't want to wear them. I've only had 2 protein bars to eat today, and I need to get off the water. Thanks for coming with me to Buffalo Lake despite its lack of beautiful scenery. Don't forget to subscribe, because after this you are pretty much guaranteed that my next adventure will be a prettier destination. See you next time.